5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Watch me. Level up, 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 level up.
Hi guys, we are Bizak. Tonight we are going to talk about RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. Oh, suck it to me, suck it to a little respect. Yup. You don't know that song?
I do, but you just extra.
Oh, suck it to me, suck it a little respect.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So we're talking about respect, guys. Respect in parenting. What that should look like in your parenting. How kids receive it. How kids see it. So Jordan's gonna start off this live.
So we're gonna talk about respect, and how to give that to your kids. And how you should also just always give it to others. So mainly with your kids, we know that you're older. We know that you're their mother, you're their father, you're their caregiver. We understand that. But at the end of the day, they did not ask to be here. They didn't write you a letter and say, yo, let me pull up. They didn't drop you their location. Come get me. Like, no, we didn't do any of that. You decided to do the nasty and make a McNasty Jr. You decided to do that.
Oh.
You know what I mean? That wasn't on us.
McNasty, y'all.
And a McNasty Jr. We didn't decide to do that. You did. So now that we're here, why does that give you the right to just do whatever, say whatever to us? That's not okay. Because at the end of the day, whatever you put into us, that's what we're going to put into the world. And is that something you want us to put into the world? Now, respect as in, you still are the parent. You still are the adult. You still are the caregiver. So sometimes your adult card, your parent card, or whatever you might say, is going to overthrow that child because you know what's best and you feel like you know what's best and something you want to keep them safe. And that's fine. But sometimes you got to let them do things to experience on their own. Because like if they're like me, you got to hit your head a couple times to believe that it's real. Listen, I got to... Listen. I got an iron on my leg from when I was 2. I didn't believe it was hot. Since I was little, I didn't believe.
That's a true story. True story.
I will show y'all why they on the sweats, and that's too much to do, right?
True story, y'all.
But all I'm saying is, your child, for instance, let me give you an example. If your child is actually, I don't know. I think what example.
Okay, so I'll talk a little bit. Yeah. So when I was coming up, my mom was very not lenient. She was strict on me with things I would do, but she would allow me to voice my opinion. She would allow me to kind of ask questions. And I remember being younger and older people in my family would always tell my mom, you let that girl say anything she want to say. She disrespectful. She real snappy out the mouth. She say a little bit too much. My mother wasn't that mother that was like, children should be seen and not heard. Is that how the saying goes? And my mother wasn't that type of mother that would say, get out of here, grown folks is talking. My mother wasn't that type of mother. So, I was very vocal. I was very vocal about what I liked and very vocal about what I didn't like. And that turned out to be a good thing for me. So growing up and in my adulthood, I've never been afraid to voice my concerns, to speak up for myself, to be an advocate for myself. And that came from my mom when I was a kid, allowing me to be an advocate for myself and allowing me to voice my concern. Now, let's fast forward from my childhood. So I had Jordan. And I had Jordan and I was at 17, 18. I was 18 when I gave birth to him. And so I had this misconception that, okay, I'm a single mother. He's a black boy. I need to be extremely hard on him. I need to make sure that he respects me. And the way that I felt that I would gain respect from my son is to be hard on him. He didn't get to ask any questions. He had to do what I said do. I would give him that look or I would pinch him and he would get it together real quick. Right? So that was my misconception. But as he's grown up, that has actually been a curse for him because he's not a good advocate for himself. He doesn't There are times when he should be more vocal to other people and he is not. And that came from me as a parent, not teaching him how to do that, not teaching him how to be an advocate for himself. So a lot of times as parents, we think that we're doing the right thing, or we're teaching our kids to be respectful, but we're really silencing them. So they're not learning how to be an adult, because in all actuality, as parents, that's what we're doing. We are teaching our children how to be an adult. We are beginning with the end in mind. Things that we are teaching them, we're teaching them those things so that when they become an adult, they're able to carry those things out into the outside world. Jordan, is there anything you can think of that maybe I have done that you are having, and I will say that, you know, as parents, we all make mistakes. We do things, it's trial and error. We kind of learn as we go sometimes, and that's how I was, you know. It took my son attempting suicide for me to actually understand that maybe the parenting that I was implementing was not the best course of action for my children. So there was actually a awakening, if you will, in my life that allowed me to understand that I wasn't beginning with the end in mind. I was doing what I thought was right so he can respect me. And a lot of times as parents, that's what we do. We do a lot of things because we're thinking about ourselves. We're not actually thinking about the bigger picture that these kids that we're raising are going to become people, and they're going to eventually move out the house. They're going to eventually go out into the world. And if we don't teach them young how to be advocates, how to ask questions, how are they going to be able to do that in the real world? What do you think? How has that affected you?
How it's affected me? Like for me, I'm not going to lie. Like I've always had like this different outlook on the world though, you know? Like I've always known. Because at the end of the day, like parents, like you raise your child, but you are not the only one raise your child. When it says it takes a village to raise a child, this is true. Like it takes a village, and it takes a village, you know. So it's going to be you raising that child, and then it's going to be your child stepping outside, and then society also raising your child. You know what I mean? So it truly, like I said, it takes a village. So for me, not only did my mom raise me, but other outside entities raised me too. So a lot of things that influences. Right, I had a lot of outside influences, and a lot of the outside influences came from stuff like books, came from stuff like listening to people impute things not into me, but they were just saying it and I was listening. So a lot of those things helped me in a sense not always listen to my mom. If I thought she was wrong, like, and I felt like she was wrong, I'm like, no, I don't agree. Like I wouldn't go through with that. But that's just me. So, like, different things, like, you say you need to always respect adults. Why? Like, I feel like as if, like, why? Like if you disrespect me, like, I'm not going to act a fool, because that's going to be disrespecting myself. But if you disrespect me, why should I have to respect you? Because you're an adult? Like, I'm a person. Before I'm a child, before I'm your child, before I'm this, before I'm that, I'm a person. So I feel like I deserve to be treated with respect. And I feel like that's how your kids should feel too. Your kids should feel like they deserve to be treated with respect. So to answer your question, like, no, there wasn't really anything that you did that really influenced me in that way, in the type of respect, in that realm of being like, of like the respect or you like doing things like that. It was something. It was other stuff, but it wasn't really nothing in that realm. Because I've always had like a different outlook on everything. And if I didn't agree, I didn't act that way.
So you don't think that me silencing you in some situations I didn't allow you to voice your concern or ask questions, you don't think that had an effect on the way that you move now? Because I do. I think that it has an effect on how you advocate for yourself and voice your concerns.
It wasn't. You did do that, but that's not what made me how I am. See, what made me like, you did that, yes, but that's, like I said, that's not what made me like how I am. Like how I am now, I don't really, and for you guys that don't know me, how I am now is, if something is bothering me, I most likely will not tell you. Like, and that's just me. Like, I'm just gonna move accordingly. I'm gonna move like different. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna move different. So because I feel as if you're doing something wrong to me, you know what you're doing. And that's just how I feel. That's how I look at it. So I don't really voice my opinions about a lot of things, and I'm quiet and I'm aloof and I'm kind of drawn towards myself a little bit because of that. But like I said, it wasn't because of my mom. It's because when I was with my father, what my father would do is he would tell me he would say, don't snitch. Don't like, he wouldn't say the exact words like don't express your feelings, but he will make it to where it seems like it's something I shouldn't do. Like, I should just keep everything to myself. And if I want to express it, I express it in this manly, like, very masculine way. But that's not who I was. You feel what I'm saying? So, as I realized that, like, that's not who I was, I just became aloof. So, and then as I'm coming home, it's like, when my mom would do that too, like, it was like, okay, like, I'm already coming this person going with my dad, though. So, her doing it wasn't really helping. But it really wasn't really changing it in that much of a way. But it did hinder what my father did hinder that. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
What do you think as parents? What is a piece of advice that you can give to parents that are parenting their children and trying to, because it's hard.
Right.
It is hard. And anybody that's watching, what do you think? Like, it is very, very hard to teach your children to respect you, and you want to build that respect, but you also want to respect them as well. It's hard to do that. So what do? You
gotta set up boundaries. You gotta let your kids know from a young age what's okay and what's not okay. Respect should never be fear-based.
That's a good one.
Because
that's good.
Respect should never be fear-based, because at the end of the day, respect is fear-based. It's not respect.
And
it's
see,
fear.
That's where I went wrong. I didn't understand that there was a difference between respect and fear. I felt that in order for my kids to respect me, they had to fear me, because I felt that one day they were going to be bigger than me. They were going to be boys that were bigger than me, and I'm being totally transparent with you. They were going to be boys that were bigger than me, and in order for me to get them to listen to me, I had to put fear into them. That's what I thought. And I feel like that was a misconception, because I think both of my boys respect me. You know, they respect me for being transparent with them, I think, and for being real. Correct me if I'm wrong. And saying, okay, this is how it is. So I have learned that over my course of parenting, but initially I didn't think that. You know, a lot of parents think when they tell you to do something, you can't ask why.
Right.
But a lot of times, if you're punishing your children and you're not giving them the why, how do you expect them to not do that again? They don't understand what they did wrong.
Yeah. When you punish your kids, it shouldn't be for you. It should be for them. It should be for them to grow from it. You know what I mean? Like, it should be from them to grow from it, and for them to understand why this is happening. What is it? How is this gonna make you better? Cause see, when you putting fear into your kids like that from a young age, you think about like an elephant, right? You got a baby elephant. You put a nail in the ground, a fork in the ground that's strong enough to hold it as a baby. And as it keep trying to get away, it see, I can't get away. I'm not strong enough. But an elephant, it get real big. And it get real big and it get real strong. But as that same elephant that you put the hole in the ground, you put the stake in the ground that it couldn't get away from when it was a baby, when it get older, it's going to have that same mentality. You have a big overgrown elephant that's strong as 300 men that believes that it cannot get away from this stake in the ground, because it believes that it is not strong enough. Because it's fearful. It's still scared. Like,
so the parent is the stake?
Yeah, the parent.
Oh, I get it.
The parent,
okay.
Yeah, the parent would be the stake. Like, you can't do that to your kids. That's not okay. It's just not okay. You should have your kids respect you for you being a great parent, for you being truthful, like she is, for you caring for them. You know what I mean? Like, that should be how you raise your kids. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just how it should be. You know what I mean? Because when that come into being a little like a tyrant and stuff like that, that's not okay. And that can have a bad psychological effect on your kids too.
Putting fear into them.
Yeah, putting fear into them. They gonna think that's how you go through the world. That's how you go through the world. They gonna think, oh, I just gotta put fear into somebody for them to respect me. And that's not how you get through life.
So
You're creating a monster.
that's a good one, y'all. So fear is not respect. Respect is not fear. Right. When you're parenting, don't think because in order to get your kids to respect you that you have to put fear into them. You never. So you're saying you should never try and put fear into your kids. Period.
Never.
So
never.
when you listen to what I say, do you don't listen because you're scared of me. You listen because what?
Because I value your opinion. I value. Because I know some of the things that you have been through. You are the experiences. I value the experiences that you have been through. See, a lot of people think that since you're older, because you're older.
I'm not older.
No, not you. I'm saying people in general.
Yeah, I'm not older.
Since you're 37. Oh. Since you're older, and you have these years that you're wiser. That's not necessarily the truth.
That's true.
I am wiser than a lot of older people. Myself, and this is painful to me, I cannot go somewhere with kids my age and have a good conversation. Most of the time. I cannot do that. I can go somewhere where there's a lot of older people and I can have a conversation with them and hold a conversation. And I can impute knowledge into them while they're imputing knowledge into me. Right?
Why do you think it's like that though?
It's like that because of my experiences. I've been through a lot. As 19 years old, I have been through a lot of things that a lot of people have not been through, and I'm thankful for that. I hope I go through more stuff because great people undergo great tests.
That's true.
And at the other side of pain is greatness, and you being stronger. That's the only way you get stronger. You think about everything in life, lifting weights, you break down muscle, getting bigger. Like that's just the law of life. You know what I mean? So it's like those experiences. I value her experiences. Not because she is older, not because she is my mother. I value her experiences because you got people that are out here that are having babies. Like, you're not a mother because you can pop a baby out you. That's not what makes you a mother. You're not a father because you can put your sperm into a female. That's not what makes you a father. What makes you a father is you being there and you imputing knowledge into your child and you making them a great asset to society. What makes you a mother is you giving your child that love and the affection that they need and teaching them how to treat a woman, teaching them how, if they're a female, how to handle themselves. That's what makes you a mother. You know what I mean? Teaching them how to respect themselves and how to respect others. That's what makes you a good parent. Not you just being like, oh, she came out my my thing. Like, that's not how that go. You know what I mean? So like there's this author. His name's Khalil Gibran. This is his view on children. He said, this is good. He said, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life, longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor carries from yesterday.
So what do you take from that?
What I take from it is you can't try to make your child a mini you. Like, you can't. That's one. You can't try to make your child a mini you. You can't try to force everything into your child, because at the end of the day, there's another quote, but I can't really think of it. But it goes something like, if you knew what your enemies go through. If say you have an enemy, right, and you understood, you went through the same thing they did. You walked in their shoes. You went through the pain they went through. You went through the experience they went through. You were the same age as them. You got the same parents as them. You had the same situation as them. If you went through the same things, you would then form sympathy. You will understand. You will feel bad for them. And you might just be just like them. For the simple fact that you've gone through what they've gone through. Your kids have not gone through the same experiences you've gone through. They haven't grown up in the same time period you have. Times are changing. Things are changing. You carry yourself a different way because you live in a different life now. Life is always going. It never stops. If you not growing with life, you dying because you moving backwards. You know what I mean? So that's just how that goes. You can't do that to your children. You can't make them think the same thoughts you think. Because at the end of the day, you might think something yesterday, but because you respect your mom, yes, Nana, I respect my mother. Yes, I respect my mom. But yeah, that's how that stuff works. You can't. Your child is not living in the same world that you were living in. It doesn't have the same thoughts. Your brain is plastic. It adapts to things differently. You know, so you have to. That's how you have to act. Parenting doesn't come with a handbook, and we are not by any means saying that it's easy. It was not easy for her. I know it wasn't. I know I did a lot of things that made it hard on her. No, I wasn't a bad kid, but I was a kid at the end of the day. And when you're a kid, what do? You mess up. You make mistakes. You know what I mean? It was time that I committed suicide. Attempted. I apologize. I attempted suicide at 14. Everything was going good. I just tried to do it again, probably a month later. How do you think that made her feel? Probably like a bad parent. Probably like she failed. All that, right? But it doesn't come with a handbook. But you still have to persevere. It doesn't come with a handbook. You just have to learn and try to be better than you was yesterday. And like I said, we're not saying it's easy. So don't bash us. Don't bash us.
We're not. But we're just talking about respect, because I do see a lot of parents that silence their children. I see a lot of people that think that they need to be strict. It's like, don't look at me like that. Don't do this way. But they don't know that they're kind of setting their children up to not be able to be advocates for themselves. Now, I'm not saying that there is not an appropriate way to ask questions or an appropriate way to voice your concerns to your parent, because it definitely is. Just like there's an appropriate way to ask questions to your peer. You know, there's a certain way you should ask things. So you should definitely work with your children on how to effectively communicate and ask questions and to inquire so they can understand. And as a parent, you should work on explaining more to your child, because you want them to learn from the situation, to grow from the situation, to be able to implement your teachings and to hopefully not do it again. But as long as you're punishing your children and you're not giving them the why, they're going to continue to do it because they don't understand what they're doing wrong. Children don't think like us. Your brain is not fully developed until you're about 25 years old. So the way that we process information and make sense of information, our children just don't do that. And I know you know that, because I know all the time I say, now what? That don't even make sense. To them, it makes perfect sense. Their brain is not fully developed. So we wanted to come super quick. Really wasn't super quick. I don't know why I say that all the time, but we wanted to come quick and talk about respect. We thought that was an important topic to talk about. We didn't get any feedback besides from my mom. We didn't get any feedback, but if you guys have some feedback, if you have an opinion on it, if you have what you do in your home, drop a comment below, and we can chat about it. Thank whoever watched. Thank you for watching if you watch it later. Thank you for commenting if you comment later. If you have any topics that you would like for us to talk about in the future, shoot me an inbox. My website is up. Make sure you go visit it. It's mommymission.co. Subscribe so you can stay in touch. My book is available for pre-order. It is $19.99. Support me, guys. And that's it. Everybody have a good night. Nice chatting with you, where you didn't chat with me, but nice talking to you. Talk to you guys later. Bye.